What's going on, guys? ResilientMOTO here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to save money on a brand new motorcycle for beginners. Alright, boys, so we're gonna get it started with a quick story here, story time on how I got my motorcycle. And it's quite simple, man. The way I did it is I saved up a good chunk of change until I was pretty serious on buying a brand new motorcycle. I understand that this story is not for everyone. Not everyone's gonna buy a motorcycle like this, but some insight is better than no insight, and I was able to save a good amount of money just by having this one tip. Okay, this one tip. So the first thing you pretty much want to do is do your research. All right, it seems very self-explanatory, but you'd be surprised on how negligent people are when it comes to doing research on their motorcycle. You have to know exactly what you're looking for. You have to know the specs. You have to know how much it is, obviously the most important. And you have to find out if you are going to finance a bike, you are going to take out a loan with a private credit union, or you are going to pay off the bike full on with cash once you get there, right? I called up the dealership here in Sacramento, and they were able to find my bike, obviously, and they let me know that it was literally the only one left. Okay, so they only had this blue one left. They have the gold ones in stock, but I did not want the gold one. I wanted this blue one, and they let me know that they could get started on the paperwork and everything. And I was serious, so I already had the money. They didn't know that, obviously, not yet. I just communicated that I was interested in buying a motorcycle, and I was either going to come in this weekend or in the next couple of days to purchase this motorcycle. So once you talk to the salesperson over the phone, you pretty much let them know that you are going to pay off the bike in full, the full amount. You are not going to finance it. You're not going to take out a private loan. You are going to pay off this bike in full, in cash, right? Or in check, or whatever they accept there at that motorcycle store. Once you communicate that with them, they're going to start asking you all these questions, like can you come in today? You're going to start asking for all your information, and giving them your information isn't a bad thing, but before you do all that, you have to let them know that you are a serious buyer and that you're looking to make the smoothest transaction possible. You got to let them know that you're not really there to waste anyone's time, that you're serious, and that you're ready to pick up the bike in a couple days. All right, so this is where pretty much the fun begins. This is where you got to start thinking. All right, it's pretty much a game of checkers here. So they're gonna pretty much give you a end sales price with tax and everything, right? And that's great. You probably already did the math. You probably were already aware of how much you were going to pay in taxes and in fees and all that stuff, DMV fees. So you're not gonna want that. You're not gonna want to pay whatever they're telling you that you're going to pay, right? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna tell them that you're willing to pay this much, right? So for a lot of people, they've never bargained in their life, right? And that's the key word right there, bargain.
That's the key word right there, bargain.
You have to be able to bargain. Don't be shy to bargain. If you've never bargained before, then you better start, because you're losing a lot of money. And it's something that I think that if you're thinking of buying a brand new motorcycle, depending on whatever bike that is, you can be saving a lot of money. And what I did is that I let them know, hey, you know what? I'm serious. I have the cash in hand. I could come in probably in the next 2 days, and I'm willing to give you my information. However, I want to talk about the price. I want to talk about the price that's comfortable for me. I want to talk about what I'm willing to pay, and you go from there, right? So they might be taken back a little bit, which is normal, but these people are used to that. You'd be surprised in how many people go in there and bargain with these dealerships, especially car dealerships, but we're not talking about cars, we're talking about a motorcycle here. So don't be afraid to let them know how much you're willing to pay for the motorcycle. Obviously, right? Obviously, if the motorcycle is $8,500, right, let's just say as an example, with taxes and everything, then you're not gonna tell them, hey, I'm willing to pay $7,000 for this bike, take it or leave it. No, you're not gonna do all that. However, what you're gonna do is you're gonna give them a price that they can negotiate with. So for my sales rep, I let them know, hey, you know what, I'm serious, I got cash, and if my bike, for example, was about $8,500, then I would let them know, hey, I'm willing to pay $8,000 with taxes and everything, right, with fees and everything included out the door. And they might be shocked. They might even say like, you're crazy, right? But if you're consistent, then they'll take you serious. They're going to realize that, hey, you know what, we could make a sale, we can make a transaction, and we should probably work with this guy. Let's talk to him. So the sales rep that was helping me out, he pretty much told me that he couldn't do that, and you know, it wasn't something that he can make happen. And I told him, all right, I understand. Well, if it's not for $8,000, then I really don't want to waste my time. So you're running the show. It's gonna feel very odd at first, but once you start getting used to it, then they're gonna start realizing that they could try and tell you no as much as they want, but you're the customer, you're the one that is gonna pay the whole amount in full, and you should be willing to negotiate price. So, and that's very important. You cannot let off the gas. You cannot let them know that you're willing to pay the full price, because once you do that, they're not going to be willing to negotiate with you. They're not going to be willing to let go of a dime. Literally, they're not. So you have to stick to your guns. Don't be shy. If you've never bargained before, then it's going to feel very odd. But once you're in the conversation of reducing the price of the motorcycle, then you're gonna feel like, hey, the ball's in my court. I can save a good amount of money, and you just have to be consistent, and that's what it is. So the rep continuously went back and forth talking with the sales manager there, and he was willing to give me $400 off of the new motorcycle, right? So I said, no, that's not good enough. If the bike is $8,500, then I want it for $8,000 with everything included. I'm willing to come tomorrow. I could give you my driver's license, I could give you all my information, whatever you need, and we could get this paperwork started. And that's what they want to hear. They want to hear commitment. They want to make sure that you're willing to put a deposit. That's the key word too. Put a deposit.
Put a deposit.
They love that word, because once you put down a deposit, they know you're serious, but you should already be serious. So it shouldn't scare you to put it down a $200 deposit. So they kept on going back and forth for another 10 minutes. And they even started telling me, hey, you know what? Like, it's only $100. You can't pay $100. And I pretty much told them the same thing. Like, hey, you can't give me $100 off this bike. You can't give me an extra $100 in order to make a $8,000 sale. It's not possible for you. You're not willing to work with me on this deal. And eventually they gave in. They caved in. So that's just something that I'm proud of. I was raised to bargain, not to be crazy cheap, but to just try to make a deal, like try to make a sale. And I get it, you can't bargain at Bevmo, you can't bargain at Best Buy, but dealerships are known to bargain. They need to make sales. So it worked out in my favor. I understand that not everyone's situation is going to be the same. However, if you don't try, then you'll never know. You're going to be missing all the shots that you don't take, right? So you got to make sure that if it's something that you really want, that you got to step out of your comfort zone. You got to do things that you've never done before, because at the end of the day, you're talking about hundreds of dollars here. So, and these people are looking to make as much money as possible. So you gotta be the wolf within the sheep. You can't allow these people to punk you. You can't allow these people to tell you how you're gonna run your finances. There's just no way. So this will also work for people that are gonna finance it. I would look into private firms, private credit unions, because their percentages are way better than the actual dealership. The dealership is gonna try to charge you as much APR as possible, try to get you to sign a contract that you're maybe not ready for. So you gotta really realize that if you're not gonna be able to pay this bike off within, I don't know, like let's just say 3 years, let's say 2 to 3 years, in a comfortable way, without getting some crazy interest rate of like 8%, then I'd recommend not financing the bike, just because it's just not going to be, you're going to get some crazy high interest, and it's going to take you a really long time to pay out the bike, and it's just not worth it. So I understand that not everyone is as blessed like I am, that I was able to save my money and purchase a brand new motorcycle with cash that same day. But this technique will work for if you are going to finance your bike. All right, so if you're going to finance your bike, it's the same method. Even if you go in person, I ended up calling just because I was busy at work, and I wanted just to make sure that they had my motorcycle in stock before I even showed up. And luckily they did, and luckily I was pretty much able to make a deal over the phone. I didn't have to bargain in person. In person, it may be a bit more intimidating, just because you have that person in front of you, and they're gonna seem like you're crazy because you're telling them how much you're willing to pay for a motorcycle, and you're not gonna pay a dime more. So if you're not used to bargaining, it's gonna feel definitely a bit weird. But if you just try it, you'd be surprised of how much money you could save. It's gonna sound like a Geico commercial, but in 15 minutes you can save about 15%. Okay, maybe not like that, but you could probably save easily 300 to, I've seen people save up to $1,000 in vehicles at least. So in a motorcycle, maybe a little different because the value is a bit lower, but it just won't hurt. Like if you save $350 on a brand new motorcycle, you could use that money for new gear. You could use that money for paying off your insurance right away. You could use that for a lot of things. You could use that for increasing the bodily injury of your insurance coverage. You could use that for property damage, in case you get into a motorcycle accident and you cause property damages, or unlicensed drivers or anything like that. Like you just have to think about it in the long run. You can't think about it like, I want the bike now, because it's not gonna help you. You have to learn to save all your dimes and your nickels. That's the biggest tip that I could give you guys, is the B word: bargain. Don't be afraid to bargain, because at the end of the day, it's your money. You're gonna be the one paying it off. So if you're not happy with the price, then don't commit. No one's holding a gun to your head. And this video is obviously for the beginner riders, the ones that are buying a brand new motorcycle out there. That's what it is. You just have to conversate. You have to get out of your bubble. You have to know exactly what you want. Obviously, the most important thing is know exactly what you want, because once you commit to that motorcycle, you're gonna have it for a while. So that's my tip for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys subscribe, comment, and show some love, because I make these videos for you guys so you guys can benefit from them, and that's it. I'll see you guys on the next one. All right, peace.